If we assume it's all mythology, well, then we're really insulting people who have incredibly good track records in other fields. It can't be all mythology. I haven't seen the documents myself, but I've read enough accounts in various other people's reports now. A few years back, Harvard finally published, it's only 300 years late, the remaining works of Isaac Newton. In these alchemical works, too embarrassing to be published, Newton points out that he discovered the laws of motion and gravitation from his study of Egyptian metaphysics, his word for Kabbalah. The rabbis were allowed back into England only 30 years before Newton did this. And Newton made his own personal translation of the text of Genesis from the Hebrew himself, and it got him in so much trouble that he lost his Lucasian seat at Trinity College because of it, because the Christians couldn't accept what he found. The simple Christians. I'm not trying to demean Christianity. It may be, this is the apple that hit Newton on the head. Look! Let's make a pizza. Okay, let's make a pizza. I got a lump of dough. It's going to be a simple mathematician's pizza, okay? And I got one piece of pepperoni in it. No cheese, it's a kosher pizza. You can't have cheese and meat at the same time. It's beef pepperoni. It's going to be pretty good. It's tofu pepperoni. Let's be veggie, okay? It's pretty good. All right, we take this little piece of pizza dough and we give it a spin, okay? Right? Guy spins it and toss it in the air, okay? This is mathematician's pizza dough, so it's a little more flexible than other dough. We give it enough spin so that the time it takes to go up and come down, it turns exactly 1.5 times. You could arrange that. And in that same time, this little blob spreads out into a disc. It's called a pizza pie. And our piece of pepperoni, which was sort of just in the middle with the dough, because it's not perfectly centered, we couldn't have thrown it exactly right, is now way up on the rim of the pizza disc. That's the path of this shape. You throw it in the air, goes up and comes down by the inverse square law. It's rotating 1.5 times. See, 1.5 times. It's half of the 3 turns down the core. Okay? It's got constant angular velocity. It conserves angular momentum, so it has an accelerating linear rate as it pulls out, and it's got a square law rate as it goes up and down. Okay? 3 parametric equations at 3 levels: linear, constant, linear, and square. The constant and linear are the ordinary laws of Newton, laws of inertia, and the square laws of gravitation. It makes an apple. And hits you on the head, head, brain. From a tree. Remember, I had a correspondence with a really fine fellow named Peter Dawkins, I believe, who runs the Francis Bacon Research Trust in Britain. Peter tells me that Bacon attempted to reconcile English with Hebrew to make it a sacred language. It was the same time as Newton, basically, very roughly. So this was the kind of thing that was going on then. Did the ancients have sufficient mathematical skills to do this sort of thing? Well, Benoit Mandelbrot attributes fractal mathematics to Archimedes. Archimedes was alive at the time the Septuagint translation, the first translation of the Hebrew text into Greek, was made, about 285 BCE. So it comes together, it fits, it's plausible. Okay?
If you cut the apple that way, you get a 5-star pattern.
Exactly. Yeah, 5-star pattern. Really? You think so? You get a 5-star pattern. Isn't that amazing?
A 1-star pattern with 5
5 points, yeah, right. Actually, it's 5 against 5. The Zohar says 5 against 5, 5 against 5, 5 against 5. 5 against 5 makes 10. That's also, if you look down DNA, you'll see that. You'll see the 10 points. That's why the tetrahelix that Fuller makes really does make the DNA model. Well, it depends what you want to prove. If you want to prove that they use this model, you can do it perfectly logically. And in fact, if we could afford to do a computer simulation of the path specified by the letters in the Tanakh, which is the books of the Torah and the writings, then that could be demonstrated on the computer to be a path. If we look at the right direction, we see a meaningful pattern, not just a pattern, but a meaningful pattern, then we know there was a pattern there. If you know how many digits from pi you are, you can identify the string as pi. But to prove the existence of God, no.
No, not prove the existence of God, but prove this as a path.
Prove that they did this?
Prove
Yes,
this as a
you could
path
do it analytically.
Well, that's what I'm questioning. I'm questioning that you could do this analytically, that in order to reproduce the path to the mystical experience, if this is, as you said, pointed to, you would have to
do it.
You'd have to do it.
Right. You could prove that there was something there. You couldn't prove it had an effect on you until you did it. Let me throw something else on the table because you brought up a thought to me. This is a very controversial issue. You've seen Dina Dell on television, the TV doctor, talk about circumcision. And there's been a lot of discussion about circumcision is unnecessarily mutilation of a poor newborn infant child. Or it's defended because it's a religious thing, or because it's good for medical practice, or sanitate, health, hygiene, whatever. All kinds of discussion. Everything but the actual issue. Consider what we know from abreactive therapies these days, when a person relives their neonatal experiences, how primary they are to forming and nucleating personality. Consider that particular, you're probably familiar with Stanislav Grof, who's got his 4 kinds of birthing situations that lead to 4 personality types. 4 kinds of birth experiences, where you get caught in the canal or how much trouble you get getting out. It leads to personality types. Consider what would happen if you took a whole population, in this case, all the men, and you perform the same trauma, minor trauma, but trauma, at the same time in life across the population. When a child is first born, that's when the brain's neural connections are both sprouting like crazy and ablating if not stimulated. It's been demonstrated, it's fairly famous now, if you raise cats in a room without vertical lines, they'll never see vertical lines. That part of the brain doesn't work. So if you perform the same ritual procedure across the population, you could never predict what would happen to an individual. But on average, you would predict a particular personality type. You'd predict a particular brain propensity. You'd stimulate certain neurons and allow others to ablate. What if circumcision performed as it's supposed to be performed, not arbitrarily by a doctor at 2 days, but at a particular time in brain development, produced a kind of personality on average, only on average, that would have a propensity to be able to do these meditations? Then that procedure would be a true covenant. Because if the meditation is the means of attaining the prophetic experience, the transcendental experience, anything you could do to make it easier would be a benefit to maintaining that tradition. The reason given, by the way, why women aren't circumcised is because women go through the birthing experience, which is an ego-death experience, and don't need that particular stimulation. Those connections are there. I think it may have to do with the shorter Y chromosome. I'm not sure. So you can see that even something that seems barbaric and arbitrary can be if it's done in the barbaric and arbitrary way. But if you understand its purpose and it's done for that purpose, then it could be functional and real and can be evaluated on that basis. Don't circumcise a kid if you're not going to teach him to meditate. If you are, maybe you should. I'm not saying you should on my word, but I'm saying you should consider this idea. I'm getting the wind-up signal. How much time do we have? 2 minutes. Right, well, nobody jump. I want to thank you all for coming. I want to especially thank Arthur and Ruth Young and the other people who've made this possible. I definitely want to thank my wife Cynthia, who hand-colored all these drawings for you. We can't afford color Xerox. And I want to encourage anyone with questions or comments or wanting to learn more to please get in touch with us. Think, to answer your question, if these ideas come out, they are going to be healing if it's done responsibly and respectfully. If I can put this on a hilltop in Jerusalem and show Arab kids and Jewish kids that their alphabets come from the same hand, then they might get the idea. We didn't have time to talk at all, but you have heard, let me defer to the quotation on the little booklets we give out from Nick Herbert. He says, one of the greatest scientific achievements imaginable would be the discovery of an explicit relationship between the waveform alphabets of quantum theory and certain human states of consciousness. General projective principle from consciousness to physics, the human hand. And I promise to go through the meditation and play the music, so if everyone will give us another second or two, we will do it.